Westlight. Earlier this week, we were informed of the unfortunate news that all of our AV equipment, our mixer, our soundboard, our monitors, our wireless mics, even our drums and our keyboard, I believe our bass guitar too, they were all stolen and taken from us. It's a tragedy, and the timing can't be more inconvenient with our first in-person outdoor service coming up this Sunday. And many of us have felt so frustrated by this, very shocked, felt very violated by the act or the acts, irritated, annoyed, you name it. And we will continue to process through these emotions. And concurrently, we're going to problem solve too. We're going to try to address the situation. We have wonderful sister churches who have offered to allow us to borrow some sound equipment, so thank you for that. We're also going to push forward and to offer forgiveness to these individuals. And it's hard because we don't know these individuals, and yet we're going to still charge forward and do our best to forgive, because that's what the Lord asks us, and that's what the Lord models to us. Forgiveness is such a complex term and process, and I believe that there are many layers to it. I want to talk about one aspect, and that's this. I believe that forgiveness necessitates compassion. That forgiveness is impossible without compassion. Now, what is compassion? If we break down compassion into two parts, calm and passion, calm means with, and passion means to suffer. And so in its purest form, compassion means to suffer with. Many believe that sin, once one person sins, that subsequently they'll be punished for it later. And I often get into this mindset. I am very right and wrong, black and white oriented. So I believe that at times there's a cause and effect relationship to sin. But I also have been learning that it often doesn't work like that. And sin often is a manifestation of one's suffering. And so it's not so much that we suffer because of our sin, but perhaps it's more we suffer by our sin. That the act of sin indicates a suffering heart. And so to bring it back to compassion and forgiveness, if we are to begin to forgive others in our lives, including these individuals who have taken this AV equipment, our work involves to acknowledge that they are suffering and to suffer alongside them, to empathize with them, and to show compassion for them. Now, it's hard to show compassion to others if we first haven't shown compassion to ourselves. And that compassion, that self-compassion towards ourselves, really comes from a place of realizing that God shows compassion to us because He is the suffering God, the God who didn't stay on His high throne above us, but He assumed our humanity, He assumed our flesh, and felt the pain of suffering in our human existence. Westlight, as we begin to process, or we continue to process what has happened to us, may we offer forgiveness by showing compassion to those who have wronged us, by suffering alongside them, by understanding our own suffering, our own hurts and pains, and realizing that we have a God who suffers with us, a God who is a compassionate God. Blessings to you, Westlight.